Okay.
Good evening and welcome to the OAV training. It is September 17, 2020. Carmen Ayala will lead us through the training tonight. Help our coordinator team know how to better serve clubs and also how to better use CMS as an OAV. Carmen?
Let me unmute. Let's get started. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Okay, you can see this, yes? Okay, so you're all familiar with the CMS, now known as the YMMS. Several of you and several directors have not requested or reactivated their accounts. If you're a new OAV and you haven't gotten your account set up yet for this system, email me and I can set it up for you to make sure that you can go ahead and get into the system. If you haven't gotten into the system this year, let me show you how. So this is the login screen and you're just going to go ahead and hit request/reactivate. And then you're going to go ahead and yes, Carmen is already taken. You're going to go ahead and click I already have a login. If you're a new OAV, you will also click I already have a login because I'll have to create yours. But for directors, they have to create their own. And that's, if they're new, they're going to go ahead and click I don't have a login to the YMMS, and they're going to hit complete your registration. Then they're going to go through and answer several of these questions. Want to make sure they hit Florida. The other day I had someone pop into ours from Texas conference, so we want to make sure that they click Florida because if they are with us. Something else that's really important to make sure that they do before they request an account is make sure that they have the background check done with Adventist screening verification. If they don't, they won't be able to complete this process, and then it's just going to delay them to get reactivated. I also want to point out that after you request or a director requests reactivation or a new account, it will take 7 to 10 business days, Monday through Thursday, because we do get a lot of requests all at once, and it takes time for us to go through and verify each one to make sure that they are eligible with their background and other things. So again, just go ahead and fill this information out, make sure that you agree to the terms. If you don't, it won't let you. Let me move this little bar. And I'm going to hit cancel. So that's how to activate a club. So how clubs can add members into their YMMS or CMS account. So I'm already logged in as our demo club on this side. And I'm going to go to our home.
Let me just interrupt for a second. Anybody have any questions just on that first part of how to get your account going, how to request a new account if you've never had one, how to reactivate? Does that part work for everyone? If you have any questions, like you can kind of, as we transition from one thing to the next, feel free to unmute and ask a question. Otherwise, we'll just keep moving. But this next part is a new section, and I just wanted to see if there was anything before we hit the new section. Okay, keep going, Carmen.
Cool. So how to add members into their system. So they can go to under members. They're going to hit register, and then it's the same thing. It's similar to activating your own personal account. They're going to answer several questions. Again, if it's a staff member, each staff member must have already completed the screening background check process. Otherwise, they won't be able to complete this. It's also super important to point out to you guys, I get a ton of phone calls saying when events come our way, I'll kind of hit this again in another segment. but why can't this person register for this event? The reason is that they're probably on our stopped list because their name is not exactly as it shows in Sterling. It could be as simple as a space or a middle initial. It could be their birthday is incorrect in one of the two systems. It could also be that their date is actually incorrect. Sometimes they put in their training date, not their background check date, or they put in when it expires instead of when it's supposed to, or when they initially did it. So those are just a few key points that you guys can help with. If they come to you, ask them to check those things before it comes to us, just because when it comes time to event, we get a ton of phone calls in regards to that, and it's if they do it right when they're registering people, then it should stop the process when the events come. And then another thing that to point out on this that's a little bit different than the registering is when you put in the birth date, and I'm just going to put in a random birth date. If they're old enough, it'll pop up asking if they're a driver, and then the director will have to go through and verify all of those details, like their driver's license, their insurance on their car, different things like that. This is not old enough. Okay, so first you see it says that they must be verified. Yes. So I'm going to make up a date and I'm going to say they did it back in 2017. And then here's the second part I was talking about is are they a driver? And then you actually have to go through and check that the director has seen all of these documents. And again, agree to the terms. I'm going to go ahead and cancel. Is there any questions so far before I keep going? No? Okay. So the next is how to help clubs get registered for events. I know, especially with new directors, they may not know this. Some events vary on how to register. Most of them are pretty common or pretty similar, but some may vary. So I'm going to show you one that's open currently, which is the varsity and e-tracker registration. So they're going to go over to events, and then they're going to click register. And then they're going to go and click on these little people. They're going to click register again. And the second window is going to pop up. This is the list I was talking about, members not released. So they could be showing up on this list because, see, you can see that there's several adults here because this is our demo account. They could be on here because they're not cleared background-wise, or you may see Pathfinders on here because since this is a varsity event, these younger ages aren't able to come to this event. So you can also go ahead and select all in the members released if you want, or you can select whoever you want, and then you're going to hit payment, and payment will redirect you to PayPal. Okay.
So guys, this might be kind of the first time, and it might be like, whoa, this is kind of quick. For some of you, you've done this a couple times. You kind of know how this works. It's an easy overview. And Carmen will show you later a place on the website where you can go to our website for OAVs. And if you don't have the password, she'll share that with you. As an OAV, you get that password. And that will be a way for you to get into the tutorials, which is a picture-by-picture step of how to do this stuff. So if you're feeling overwhelmed or you feel like this is a lot, it's meant to be an orientation, just to kind of introduce you if you haven't seen it, and also to help you be more familiar with it if you have seen it, and also remind you that there is a place with a step-by-step picture grid kind of to walk you through. So If you have questions now, that's fine. If not, there are other resources beyond what's happening tonight to just help you do your best as you go through CMS.
And there's another place for directors to also go see a ton of step-by-step tutorials, and that's floridaconference.com/PADCMS. So they can find all of the things I'm showing you tonight and more. So that's a great resource for them.
Could you repeat that, Carmen? Sorry, could you repeat that?
The website?
Yes.
I'll put it in the chat.
Perfect. That's even better. So our next step is how to help clubs meet the October 1 deadline, since that is approaching very fast. To meet the deadline, we're looking to have everything in the calendar put in. So if you go to secretary, you can go ahead and hit calendar and then hit the number and type in the event, type in the dates of when it ends, because they're assuming this starts, or yeah, put in when it put when the date is, and then you can go ahead and put a description if you want, and so on. We're also looking for them to make sure that all of their members are added into the system. So I'm going to go ahead and go home, and then I'm going to go to register, and that's what I showed you in the beginning, making sure that all their staff are put in, all of their children are put in. We're also looking for each child to be put into their specific levels. So to do that, I'm going to follow a tutorial that I found on that website that Pedro just put in the chat. And this is something that we shared with all of the directors at leadership training. But first, you're gonna go to, you're gonna log in. Okay, we did that. Then you're gonna go to units of club, and then you're gonna go to units again, and you're gonna go ahead and click new. And so when you're naming the unit, this is important for bigger clubs. As you can see, we were messing around and we made Friends Class 1. So if you have several teachers teaching the Friends class, you can make sure you name them all different things because they'll all have different logins. So we're gonna make a Explorer class, and we're gonna name it 2. This is also something else that's really important, is if the staff member is not put in as a counselor, they will not show up on this list. So they must be put into the system as a counselor. So we have Lola, and then we're gonna write down this code because we're gonna use it later. So let me write it down really quick. So 3, 6, 5, 6, 1, 1, 7, 5, 3. Okay, and then I'm gonna hit save. And there she is, Explorer 2. And you can see that she has no one in her class. Okay, and then we're going to go to Units of Club, and we're going to click Members. And we're going to click on New. And then we're Explorer 2 is what we're working on. And let me find some Explorers in here. And if you don't have any, or if some, maybe even a staff member is working on it, so let's say Santiago's working on his Explorer, even though he's a staff member, you can still put staff into classes if they're working on it. So So I'm going to say Diana's working on it too. Oh, she's a counselor. Let's put David. And I'm going to hit save. And then we are going to go ahead and go on to the next section. So this is something new that we are incorporating this year. Let me open this in a new link. This website is for our counselors. So the directors can access this, but this is mainly for the counselors to actually hands-on enter in information that they use or that each child has completed within their level. So this is where you're going to enter in that password and ID that we just wrote down. So 36561 and 36561. Yep, and then 1753. I'm going to sign in. So as you can see, we have several members here that that I enrolled, and we're going to go ahead and click on their card. And this person is working on the Explorer, so I'm going to hit fill in. And then if I scroll down, you can see all of the requirements that need to be made for Explorer. So just to show you guys, the dates are a little bit specific. So I'm going to say this is February 5, 2020. You can even write little comments like, good job. And then, so that one took, but if I try to put 3/5/19, it's an invalid date. It has to be the 2/2/4 in order to work. So once I put in that date, I'm going to hit update card. It was successfully updated. Yay! And you can see that she started 4% done with Explorer, but nothing else is done with any other class.
So why would I want to use this? Why would I want to go through all this trouble of entering this information and getting that code and putting that in? I think this is where we want our directors to know that this is a layer now to help the counselor help the child, right? Because now the counselor can see the progress that every child is making in their class level. The director can also see the progress that each child is making in their class level, and it all exists on their card. In the system, it's called a virtual card. So this is an improvement, it's an upgrade of what we had, and it's a way for clubs to better track what their counselors are doing with the kids in their level and how kids are doing on their level work within that level under the counselor. So this is really a great tool if they use it to help make this something that everyone has access to, from the counselor to the director, to kind of monitor how the club is doing.
Question.
I have a question. Since the counselors currently don't have access, will they have access to this system going forward, obviously?
So they actually don't need access to the system in order to access website. So the director will just give them the code that I wrote down, and then they only need access to this in order to, they can go in whenever they want, update it for each child. That way they can keep it up to date. And then I'll show you how the director can see what the counselor has entered in a second.
Daryl, that's the right question, because what happens is we want to make sure that the information that the club director and club secretary see from within the CMS, that they only see those things. So this is outside of CMS, even though it's related to CMS. It's kind of like this is another house. It's not the same house as CMS, but it's a neighbor. And so they can share the same view, but they don't have the same house, if that helps make sense.
So I have a question. Does this information go with each student if they transfer from one club to another?
I believe so.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And they can't change that information if it transfers with them. Only the person who entered it can change it.
Perfect, thank you.
Great question.
It's a
Is there
cool upgrade.
Was there any other questions before I continue onto the director side of this?
The ones that are given.
Where do I go to get to this side?
The website or the
The website.
So the website is padcms.org/club/US/unit card member. It's in the tutorials that are on the PAD or Florida Conference PAD CMS. It's under leadership training, and you just hit establish staff, and it's right there.
But maybe when you go share that website, that for the directors, they go to floridaconference.com/PADCMS. When they get there, she'll show you kind of what that director will see. And they'll see the tutorial and she'll walk you through this. And I guess she's going to do it right now. Imagine that.
Yeah, might as well. So it is right here at the top. It's under established staff, and it's in both Spanish and English. And then, so we already went over the first tutorial. The second tutorial is right here, and they also have it in Spanish as well. And that's the website. So unit control. Okay.
Is this also for the adventures or only Pathfinders?
It's also for the adventures.
As OAVs, what do we have access to?
We are going to get to that in just a few minutes.
I have to search for.
Sorry, I didn't hear that. Neil, were you trying to say something?
I don't think that was for you. I just think you.
Oh, you thought that was something else.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think that's for you.
Okay, so I'm gonna move on. So for the director, they can see this information by going to, let me go back to the tutorial. So they can find where all of this information is updated if they go to Unit of Club, and then they're going to go ahead and hit Classes. And they can see both whether if they want to see it per child or if they want to see it per class. So we are working on the Explorer class. And you can see that Greg Harris is 4% done, Diana's 4% done. And if I go back, I can scroll down to members and actually click on only Greg Harris and see what he's done. And so you can see that he's started Explorer, he started Friends, and how much he's done in each class. So that's where the director can see what he's done. And you can actually hit card as well and see that he has 3 dates entered in for him, but still has a lot left to do. Okay. And this I don't need to go over with you guys. So we are going to switch now to the OAV side of things, which is all what you guys have been waiting for. So how can OAVs register for events? So we have a way for you to actually register for events now. So I'm going to go ahead, and going to be padcms.org/event/US. And I'm also gonna switch my screen here for a second. So if this confuses you, don't mind it. It's me doing stuff in the back end that you guys will never have to do, okay? Just give me 2 seconds while I switch it to our demo account for our OAVs. Okay, so this is what it looks like for you guys. On your side, may look familiar. We are going to, if you guys memorize this number is your member code, which you guys will use to register for every event. It's not going to change. If you just want to write it down and that's easier for you, that works too, whatever works best for you guys. But this code is going to allow you to register for events. So you want to make sure that you write it down. Because this is one of our demo accounts, I'm just going to open up my account. I don't know her information. I'm going to slide this to another screen. Because when you register for an event, this is the website you're going to go to. Again, padcms.org/event/US. Then you're going to go down to Open Events. Then you're going to go to the Southern Union. And then you guys are in Florida. So as you can see, there's 3 registrations open for you guys right now. This is for varsity. I Can't Breathe, that's coming up. So to do this, I'm going to show you how to register. So this is where you'll type in that member code. Again, I'm just going to copy this and paste it here. And then copy her email. And she was born in 1968. And I'm going to hit sign in. Oh, I was messing around with this earlier. So if you've already registered, you can get your barcode, your information here, and whatnot. I'm going to hit exit. Okay. And I'm going to go to Open Events, Southern Florida Conference, and I'll register for this one. Okay, so the member ID, I need it again. Actually, I think I already have the email in here, so I'm going to put that in now. Member ID, and then she was born in 1968, yes. I'm going to hit sign in. So as you can see, you're gonna be able to see your information. This is important, especially for like these events that we're doing virtual, because it shows the address, and we want to make sure that it's the right address, because this is the address we'll be shipping things to for you guys. So go ahead and double check that. Again, no one's going to see this information except you, except we'll see the address. So we want to make sure that that's correct. And then you can't change it. I tried to see if it would work. It doesn't change. You have to go back to your account and change it. But once you're ready to do it, you'll go ahead and hit finalize, and then it'll redirect you to PayPal. Pretty simple. Is there any questions so far on how to register for you guys? Nope. Cool. I'm gonna exit this.
Yes.
Okay.
I just take my time for new, but this screen is brand new, so we have to go this over again. So we can do it from our OAV, PAD regular screen, not the new screen.
Sorry, you're breaking up. What was that?
So in order to register for an event, the screen that you're showing us now, this is a brand new screen. And this is not the screen as in the DCMS regular interface.
So this screen is for you guys. We are opening this up to clubs later on.
So we need to get the access to this because this, the link for, you went through it so fast, we didn't even get a chance to move the pen.
Oh, yeah. I can go through it again. So the website is padcms.org/event/US. And then you're going to go to open events, and then Southern, and then Florida. And I created a tutorial for this already, which I can go ahead and email to you guys later, or I can do it tonight after I get off the call with you guys. That way you guys can have it and can, when you do it, go step by step together with the tutorial. And then we're also recording this, so that way you guys can go back and watch it if you guys need to. But again, just
question again. So this seems like maybe it's just me not getting this. The screen that you had earlier on the director and the staff for us OAV to register for event. This is a different screen. We couldn't register, we cannot register as for other staff would register.
I missed that last part. Sorry, you're breaking up a lot. Is he breaking up for everyone else?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Martha, did you understand?
No, I didn't understand, but I have a question. For that member code, is it the member code is the same for everyone?
No, it's different per person. So that's why you can memorize it for yourself. And yeah, different per person.
Okay,
and this
so how
is so
code?
What was that?
When or how do we get that member code? Second.
Yeah, great question. So when you log into your account, it is right here. This up in the top left-hand corner, that's where you're gonna find that code.
All right.
But on that screen that you're showing her, we can't register for an event on that screen.
No, you cannot register for events on this screen.
I have a question.
If we're waiting to be reactivated, we have to wait because I tried to do the reactivation and can't get in. So I guess we just have to wait in order to get that number.
So in order to reactivate, you shouldn't need this number. You just go and hit the red button to reactivate, and then type in your username and password. Do you remember your username and password?
Yeah, I had it saved, but it's saying not found.
It's saying not found.
Yeah, and it's saying the same, I think, for a few of us that are on here right now.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna mention to you.
Sorry.
It's over a week now. It says 7 days. Give you guys 7 days to send it, and it's been over a week, and I still have not received the new reactivation information as yet.
Okay, if you guys that are having problems could email me, and then I will get back to you on Monday. I'm not sure why it's giving you that message. If you guys could take screenshots also, because sometimes it's bigger than me and I have to pass it on to our developers. So sometimes it's just me simply resetting your password if that's the problem. I can go ahead and check it. Send me your username, and then I can change your password if needed or see what's going on from that.
I'm sure that's with everyone.
Yes.
I'm sure everyone's having that same issue.
So I've already released several OAVs, so I know that it's not everyone. So I wonder
I have a question.
What?
The 7 to 10 days that you mentioned,
Mm-hmm.
they're from Monday through Thursday, right? So it's Monday through Thursday, 4 days, next Monday through Thursday, 8 days, and then Monday, Tuesday, right?
Yes.
So it'll take about 2.5 weeks. Because I got mine and I had to wait about that same amount of time until mine reactivated, and I'm able to log into mine, right?
So it's actually 2.5 weeks.
Exactly. Okay. So I don't know if anybody was kind of confused on that, so I just wanted to clarify.
Yeah. So it may be faster. It just depends on how many requests we have in the bank and what else was going on that week. If we're able to release people. I try to check it periodically just because I know people are wanting to get in and also register for events and do things in it. But it does take time, even just to release like one person. It's a process to go through. For each person, it can take up to between 5 to 10 minutes for one person. So it's definitely, if we have 100 because of all the directors, it takes some time.
Carmen.
Yes.
What causes an OAV to have to reactivate their account?
So every year, we will basically shut down the system. This year was between July 27 and 30, I believe. And that's basically just to say like, hey, I'm in the system again. Because some clubs don't come back, or new directors come. Same with OAVs. Some OAVs don't come back the next year. So it's just basically a way for us to kind of reset for that new year.
But if I still have access, I go in. I mean, I don't have to do anything. You did it automatically, or what?
So you probably reactivated your account then if you're still able to get in.
Nope, I never did.
Well, then I guess you're lucky. We probably somehow were messing with your account or something. Maybe. I'm not sure. Sorry. Was there any other questions before I continue? Because we do have a couple other things that I want to hit really quick. No? Okay. So, moving forward, so our next thing was, how can you see clubs that have registered for the event? So you're gonna go to coordinator, and then you're gonna go to event registrations. So because this is a fake club and we haven't assigned anyone to it, I'm not able to see things from this event. So if you will close your eyes really quick again, I'm actually gonna just switch to Jose's since he has varsity coming up. Just a sec. That way you guys can see how exactly to see for each of your areas. Name. So this is Jose's account. So he's going to go to coordinator, and then he can go to event registrations. And as you can see, there's several events going on right now. And for varsity, iCamporee, it looks like he has one person. Who's that person? We're going to click on this little arrow for my clubs. And you can see that Westchester Spanish has one person that paid and one participant. And you can see what area they're in as well. So that's how you see for how many people have registered. For eTracker, it's probably my, it's my OAVs. So that's why they're not showing up, the ones that I was messing around with earlier. And how can I get club information? Because I need to contact them. So again, we're going to go to coordinator, and we're going to go to clubs. And you can see all of these lovely churches. There's so many. We're going to hit export data, and then that's going to be able to give you all of their phone numbers, all of their emails, anything that they've entered into the system, so that way you guys can actually communicate with all of your clubs. You have to download it into, I believe you can choose. Yeah, you can choose if you want it as a PDF, if you want it as an Excel, but you have to export the data in order to get that information, just because it's so much. Another, what was that?
Question, please.
Yes.
At what point does the system refresh itself for the new year? Because now I'm looking at my screen and still have the information for the total clubs from the previous year.
So you'll see everything from previous years. The only thing it refreshes is basically people. So if there's a new director, now that new director will show up. We'll deactivate the old director, things like that. But all of the information, so if honors were entered in, or the amount of work for each level was entered in for a child, none of that's going to change. It's all going to stay within the system. Just the people, when the system shuts down for those couple days and reopens back up, that's all that's just the shutdown is, basically.
For example, maybe I'm not following you clearly. For example, I'm looking at a club that says total Pathfinder 20, 74, 13, 24, 26. But that's not correct as of today. That's the old information from last year.
Where are you finding it again?
I'm on the screen that says club. The coordinator, it says club. And I'm looking at the clubs, and that's the information for the club. Right?
I'm sorry. I'm really having a hard time hearing you.
I think you said he went to the same screen you're in, went to clubs, went to a club, and information, when he clicks send, it's the same one as last year's.
Is that director no longer there? They may have not reactivated their account then, and that's why it's showing last year's information. You can also go to report generator, and this will also show you, this is not what I was looking for, never mind. But you can go to my directors and then hit execute, and this will show you all of the directors that are this year's as well. Oh, and then it has their phone numbers here, their emails here. You can search for someone as well, just to make it easier for you guys, so you don't have to actually download all of their information. So that's another way that you guys can find that information if you need it. So I know I went through a lot of information pretty quickly. Is there any other information that I can answer? I know some of you guys have another call in 5 minutes, so I want to be mindful of that. But is there any other questions that I can answer for you?
Yes, there's a question in the chat that speaks of if we want to register for the upcoming event, the varsity event, we want to register for that, but then we have to wait the 2.5 weeks, but that event registration closes next week. What do we do?
Email me.
Gotcha.
Because if I get a notification, because every time someone comes in, I don't get notified. I have to just check it. Okay. So if you email me and you say, hey, I put in my request, I need access, I can do that pretty quickly. But if I don't know you're there, I mean, like I said, I try to check it pretty regularly, but it is easy for me to miss as well, just being honest. Email me and I can make sure you don't have to wait those 2 weeks and you can get it pretty quickly.
Okay, thank you.
Great question.
Carmen, what's your new email address?
So my email address is still carmen.mead@floridaconference. Because I have to, in order for my email to change, I have to give the conference some paperwork saying that I'm actually married and whatnot. So it will be changing, but even if you do email carmen.mead after I change my email address, it'll still come to me because they'll forward everything. But yes, it will be changing when I get that paperwork because it's a process. So carmen.mead@floridaconference.com. Any other questions?
Oh, am I still?
Oh, there's a lot in the chat. I haven't looked at this. Sorry, guys. Did I miss any questions in here? It looks like Pedro was trying to answer some of these questions. So how do we get the member code? I think I answered that. Was that answered for you, Natalie? That's in the top left-hand corner.
Yes.
I believe it's the number, text community, yes. Sorry.
Carmen.
Okay, I think that I answered everything. Perfect.
Carmen, I have one question.
Yes, how can I help?
The club ID, stays with that club all the time, like last year, next year, that never changes?
Never changes.
Cool.
And that's actually per person, so it's not just per club. So that member ID that the director would see at the top, that's their personal one. Each child has their own as well. So when we do open up that section for directors to give that to each child to register, have their parents register them, that's going to be their director is going to be able to give them that number, and then they just type it in, put in their information, and then go from there. But right now it's not open to directors yet.
And when we reactivate every year, our numbers doesn't change?
Nope, same number.
Okay.
So if you want to memorize it, go for it. Any other questions before we end? Nope. Jose, do you want to pray us out?
Okay.
Sure. Let's bow our heads. Dear Lord, thank you for allowing us to be with you. Thank you for this wonderful day you have given us. Thank you for health. Thank you, Lord, for allowing all these OAVs meet here as a family. We know we are eager to see each other in person again, but Lord, at least we have this technology you have provided for us. Thank for Carmen for sharing the information with us. And that all we learned today, we go down and pass it down to the directors. In your name we pray. Amen.
Good night, everybody.
Amen. Good night, everyone.
Amen. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.
If you guys have questions, I can stay on for a little bit if you would like. If not,
I emailed you.
Perfect. I'll reply to it on Monday.
Okay. Good night, everyone.
Night.
Carmen, I have a question.
Yes.
Night, everyone.
Hi, Carmen.